Hey there, so it's a beautiful evening and it just got done raining not too long ago, so I figured what a better time than now to give you guys a garden update. So let's go take a look. These are growing very well. Look at here, this one already has some tomatoes starting on it. Now I need to get out here and do a little bit of pruning on some of these, as well as put stakes in to get them to grow up like that instead of in a bush. Here I got my cucumbers, and they too are growing fairly well as the weeds. But I'm going to train these to go up like so. So hopefully this whole thing will be covered and I'll be able to harvest the cucumbers easily. As you can see, a bunch of flowers here that will definitely turn into little tomatoes. These ones got a few as well. And I need to come out here and prune these ones as well and figure out exactly how to prune these because I'm not very good at pruning yet. And then my grandma had a few extra little marigolds, so I shoved them in here. That one was almost dead the other day, but they have sprung up very well. And here's the pepper plants. They are all coming up fairly well. Hopefully here in the next little while these will be as big as the bought ones are, which these are just growing nice and spiffy too, and even are trying to make little peppers. Fortunately, this bed is nothing. The one Brussels sprout that ended up surviving is now pretty much dead. And unfortunately, it looks as though my kohlrabi is not going to come up this year either. So that gives me two options with these two beds. Either I can cover them up with plastic and let them cook some more, or I can go ahead and replant them. I think I'm going to try to find something that I can plant before July here that may still have a chance of coming up. This bed here, I have white icicle radish, and they're coming up okay. There should be like another 2 or 3 lines in there, but for some reason things just aren't wanting to come up for me this year, even though we're getting plenty of rain. And as you can see, a bunch of the watermelon radish is just not doing anything. I may try to plant in the bare spots and see if I can get more of those radishes to come up. Here we got the crimson giant radish. These are actually coming up pretty decent. There's kind of a few little rows missing in there, but pretty decent. And then we got cherry radishes here. And to my surprise, we actually have quite a bit of carrots coming up. A lot more than came up in the last year. They look like grass, which I probably pulled some of these thinking that it was grass at one time. Been out here every couple of days trying to weed, so I don't have to spend hours out here each time that I am. These two beds I got to take the weed whacker after them because they're starting to get well out of control, as you can see. And then we've got more radishes in this bed here. And then our kales are actually coming up semi-decent. Not as good as I would hope, but they're still coming up better than the other plants are. This here is the Scotch curled kale. And then over here we have the Siberian dwarf kale. And that's actually coming up pretty nicely, although as you can see there's a few little bald spots here and there. Not sure what went on with my garden this year, but things just aren't wanting to grow quite as well. Here we've got the Swiss Chardford Hook Giant, which as you can see there's only 3 of those that are actually growing. So once again I'll probably try to figure out something to fill that in with. Here we've got the Bloomsdale standing spinach. Got a little bit right there, and then we got almost 2 rows, or 1 full row I guess, right there. And once again, bald. All this side is bald, nothing came in. So I'm not sure what's up with that. And then we've got a weed patch. Because, well, once again, the catnip and stuff just didn't do anything. And I was keeping up on weeding this, however, I kind of slacked off. And this is what happens in about a week's worth of weed growth, because I weeded this part last week. Now for the cream of the crop here. Look at this. This here is the giant dill pumpkin. That one's doing pretty good, which is the one that I thought would do the best. And we've got another one over here, as well as another one over here. Now we've got a little one there, little one there. As you can see, these ones aren't growing as fast. However, these tend to stay a little bit smaller because their pumpkin's only about yay big. And more there, and there. That one's doing a lot better than I thought that it would. And then in with those weeds right there, you can probably pick out, there's a leaf, there's a leaf. That's good. And then my spaghetti squash, this one actually came back, which I am very surprised about because I wasn't expecting that. And this one here is starting to send out little feelers here to try to grow bigger. And of course this mess here, which I really need to get in here and clean this out and figure out a nice way to stack this stuff. I did not realize that this could get this thick. Look at that. That is pretty dang thick for an asparagus. I never knew they'd get that thick. The rhubarb is just about to the point where I'll have to start cutting some out. And the comfrey, these pretty little flowers that it puts out. I need to cut this all back and throw that into one of these beds here to help the plants grow. Oh, and sadly, I hit one of the froggies with a mower. Not real sure how he hopped on out of his little area there, but he did somehow. So that's the garden update, but I hope that you enjoyed it. And I hope that you will make sure that you subscribe, hit that like button, hit that bell as well so you get notified every time that I put out a video. And until next time, you have a good one.